What's going on, everybody? It's Tramel Williams with your home team at Hunt Real Estate, and I have Meg. How you doing, Meg?
Pretty good, Tramel. How about you?
I'm doing great. So on this video here, we will be discussing the roles of an attorney, of a real estate attorney for that matter, and why they're important. So let's go ahead and get into it. So Meg, what is the role of an attorney, or a real estate attorney for that matter, and why are you guys important?
It's my responsibility, whether you're buying or selling, to make sure that your rights are protected and your obligations are met. To explain what's in the contract. There's a lot of legal terms that aren't intuitive for people to know what they mean. To make sure that you understand that, and I put together my little flow diagram in color so that everybody knows who's doing what, when we're doing it, and where we are in the process.
There we go. All right, and what are some of the duties you provide to your buyers?
Well, like I said, I explain the whole contract to them. I'll go through each term, explain what the significance of it is. I calendar all of the dates. The dates in the contract are hard dates, except for the on or about date that we're going to close. And that is something that people don't expect. I think they think that the inspection and getting your mortgage contingency are something that's kind of like, yeah, well, when we get it, we'll let you know. But we're going to close on that date. So I explain to people, where each kind of gate is along the way, and I make sure that I'm communicating with the rest of the team. I have a title company that I talk to. I'll have the attorney on the other side. We communicate and make sure that it's kind of transparent to either the seller or the buyer. Nice. What's going on, but also to keep them informed. I'm available to them 24/7. A lot of times, to meet with an attorney, it's not convenient to either, you're working, you've got a life. So if you do real estate, you've got to be prepared to meet with clients when they're available.
No, and that's really important too, because 9 times out of 10, most attorneys are available only through Monday through Friday, and sometimes it's not convenient for them. So no, I totally understand that. Absolutely. In the state of New York, our real estate a real estate attorney required for buyers to purchase a home in New York State?
It's not, but I don't know how a buyer or seller who has no legal training could navigate.
Gotcha.
Right from, I did have someone actually challenge me with that. Why do I have you? And I said, well, I've already looked at the contract, and already one of the dates that's in that contract is passed. If you didn't have an attorney, what would you do? He said, okay, let's go on. I know why I need you now.
Got you. What are some issues that may arise before closing?
There's a few places where the process can stumble through no fault of anyone's. The first one is the inspection, and issues that we run up against an inspection that need to be negotiated for repairs to be made. Some of those repairs are extensive. The biggest one is septic systems. You need to get permits. It takes time to get them done. So it can put the brakes on the process for a little bit.
Right.
And then everything stops because that has to happen before you move to the next step, which is getting your mortgage commitment. And again, it depends on your lender. It depends on your situation, how many things they're going to ask for documentation on. So again, that's another date that I make sure if we miss it, I'm asking for extensions and explaining to the other parties why and where we're at. Nice. And the other problem at times is title. When we go to get the title report, there's a section in there that outlines judgments and liens and open mortgages. And sometimes it's a shock to people that money that they owed, a judgment that they probably were notified about, but they just ignored and thought goes away. They don't go away. In New York, they're good for 20 years. They're good for 10 years against real property and have to be renewed. And typically people think, oh, that's been a couple of years, I haven't heard from them. And those judgments have to be paid off before you can sell your property, because that buyer needs to know that nobody else can claim a piece of it. And old mortgages that were never recorded. What happened in 2008, what's made it difficult is the lenders weren't recording mortgages, sometimes because the volume was so high, and other times because these mortgage companies were going out of business so fast.
Right.
So we're trying to trace back and find documents from companies that no longer exist. And it's something, when you have a 30-year mortgage, 30 years from now, are you going to remember
Absolutely not.
what your attorney told you, which is make sure the satisfaction gets recorded so nobody can claim any rights to your property. So those are probably the three biggest areas.
Okay. And I know you probably get this question a lot, but are real estate attorneys paid up front or at closing?
It's a very common question, and it's something that I outline on the flow diagram. Is there are some costs that are out of pocket. You will pay for your earnest money deposit, your inspection, your appraisal, your credit report, and your homeowner's insurance. Those are paid for out of pocket. Everyone else, the realtor, the title company, the lender fees, and the attorney, all come out of, if you're financing through a lender, through your lender's funds, and if it's cash, from your cash. Nothing is paid up front except those things that I've outlined, and then part of my job is to make sure that everything's apportioned correctly, that day that we close, the taxes that have either been paid up till that point, you're refunding and crediting back to the seller what's owed them, or on the buy side, if something will be due, and the seller, specifically school taxes, because it's strange, school taxes run from July 1st to June 30th, but are typically not due until September. So in that period of time, we've got to escrow and figure out who owes what. I make sure that my clients are either not paying or giving a penny more than they have to. And then I also make sure that everyone gets paid again, so there'll be no liens against the property.
There you have it. And last but not least, but how can someone reach you if they wanted to get the process started today?
You can look me up on my website, which is gilmartinlawfirm.com. On there, you'll see my email address, which is meg@gilmartinlawfirm.com. I have just one phone. I have a cell phone. It's everything is on that cell phone. So 518-888-6750 is the way to reach me. And again, I'm reachable 365, 24/7. I do sleep sometimes.
There you go. There you have it, guys. And again, thank you guys for tuning in.